Hello, my fellow fallible human. Thank you so much for being on this journey with me as we launch the training division of Red Roof Recovery with Mental Health Fitness Alliance, changing the conversation around mental health. In this episode of the Red Roof Recovery Show, I would like to talk about maybe taking the diet that really works. I recently heard someone say, in these trying and horrendous times, it is important to connect with those who choose light over darkness. Wow, when I heard that, it fell heavy on me. I agree. It's important for us to choose light over darkness, good over bad, healthy over unhealthy, etc. And I think it's also important for us to be selective about how we're spending our time and who we are spending our time with. We become the company we keep, right? And I think these times are only trying and horrendous when we continue to expose ourselves to media messages that are designed to keep us frozen in complacency and compliance. There's no shortage of breathless media reports and popular books that are perpetuating this belief that we've reached the apex of humanity. And I know of what I speak because I was a journalist for more than 20 years. My job, I'm embarrassed to say now, was to perpetuate what I call the FUD Factor: fear, uncertainty, and doubt. So now I'm broadcasting a new message, and I made it rhyme so it can be memorable and maybe even musical if you're so inclined. It just encourages you to take the diet that really works, a media fast. And of course, now in this digital age, we can call it take the diet that really works, a digital diet. Are you ready for this now? It rhymes, so put a little music behind it as well in your mind. So remember, repetition is the mother of learning, which is why I like to come up with these little snappy slogans to help them be memorable. Okay, here it is. Don't watch, read, or listen to news and feel how much your life improves. Memorable, yes? I mean, things are the same as they always have been and always will be. We are just like the people who came before us, and we are just but a brief stopover until the people who, just like us, will come after. The earth abides forever, but we will come and go. So while we're here, let's just do our best. Be kind to ourselves and others. I also think it's a really good idea for us to contemplate our mortality every day. Balancing the books of your life at the end of every day can be, I think, life transformational. And at the beginning of your day, you can ask yourself, what can I do from where I am with what I have today? Being indoctrinated with 12-step programs for many, many years, I really did like the snappy slogans because they're memorable. And the dogma of living one day at a time is truly helpful because that's all we've got. We've got 24 hours. And I remember my husband saying, the number 4,264, does that sound like a big number to you? And I said, no, not at all. And he said, that is the average lifespan in weeks. And it's like, wow, 4,264 weeks. So maybe that can help you put in a little perspective. And I also use something called the cup of life and death. It's an old Tibetan ritual where they actually use a cup to balance the books of their life at the end of every day. And before they go to sleep, they turn the cup over. And not only does that represent the end of their day, but it also represents the end of their life. And that's what I do. I turn that cup upside down. I've balanced the books for my day. I've done the best I can. And now I'm going to sleep peacefully. I'm kind of hoping that's how I go, peacefully in my sleep. But then something remarkable happens when you open your eyes in the morning. And it's like, oh, wow, I get to turn the cup up. Yippee-yi-yay, and here we go for another day. And I give thanks. I look at nature saying, thanks for another day. Thank you for my life. Thank you for my health, my well-being, my able body. I'm so grateful. Thank you for all my blessings. And then I put the cup up like I'm cheering, like I used to do with booze. And now it's just a cup that's ready to be filled with all the wonderful things in the world. And I always ask my guardian angels to guide my life. I always need their help every day. And be willing to not just give, but also receive, right? We deserve the abundance that's available to us in the universe. And I always encourage people to talk to yourself and treat yourself like you would talk to and treat your good friends. With kindness, love, compassion, understanding, empathy. We are all on our own unique path. But remember, you're never alone. Keep seeking, keep learning, and keep showing up for yourself. Thanks so much for being here with me on this journey of life. What we're doing here is basically repeating an action so often that it becomes unconscious behaviors. That's what we do with cognitive therapies, mindfulness practices. We do it so much that then we can default to it without thinking. We're creating new healthy habits. We are forging these new pathways, sculpting new pathways in our brain that will serve us in healthier ways. And appreciate that self-care is not selfish. It's not self-indulgent. Caring for yourself, in fact, is, I think, an act of survival, an act of love, an act of bravery that you nurture every day because you are worth the effort. May the force be with you. And remember, you are the force.